In this video, we are going to take a look at multiple shape areas. A lot of people find this difficult, um, but what you need to understand is all we're doing is taking and finding the shapes one at a time. And so if you're able to, most of the time, find the whole entire shape, and then it's usually about subtracting off the pieces. So in this case, it says find the area that is shaded in. Okay, so in this case, I'm looking at this triangle, and this triangle, and this rectangle. The easiest way for me to do this, I know I showed you here, find the whole shape, take out the ones that aren't shaded in. You can do it that way, but realistically, if you see these marks here, that's 8. If they have the same mark, that means that's 8 as well, which means that mark is 8, and that mark is 8. Here it says it's 20, so on this side it's 20. Well, realistically, all I need to do in this case is take that triangle, and it's an 8 by 20, so I'm going to go 8 times 20 divided by 2, and I get 160, it's going to be 80. But then I have one of them, 2 of them, that are the exact same size, so if I times it by 2, I get 160. Triangle's done. Now all I gotta do is find out this. And it's 8 and 8 by 20. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go 8 times 20 is 160. If I add them together, I get 320. So I end up with 320 meters squared when I add the two together. And that's realistically, that's a really simple one where I just had to find a couple shapes and put them together. They get a little more complicated. Taking a look at this one here, I only got 2 measurements, the 30 meters and the 30 meters. So I can know the whole entire shape is 30 times 30, which is 900 meters squared. And now the key here is I have these circles, and I know that it's 30 all the way across. So that should clue me in to looking at one of the circles and understanding that the diameter in one has to be 10 because it's 10 across there, 10 across there, and 10 across there to make up that 30. That is probably the hardest part of this question. And now that I have that, as soon as I see a circle, I instantly go to RDCA. My diameter is 10, so the radius is 5. I don't need anything with the circumference. I just skip it and go to 5 times 5 times 3.14. 5 times 5 times 3.14, and I end up with 78.5. Okay, 78.5 meters. But that's just one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So if I times them by 5, I get 392.5. So if I want to know in this case the shaded, I have to take off this white stuff, which is the circles, from everything. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 900, which is everything, take off all those circles, 392.5, and I get 507.5 meters squared is what is not shaded in. Okay, the key to that was finding out everything and then finding those circles. You're going to get questions that get even more difficult. And realistically, in grade 8, I'm making these a little more complicated simply to challenge you guys a bit more. You'll see on the final, you're not going to get as complicated questions. But if we take a look at this question here, what I've got is, it's saying that it's 10 from here to here, so that means it's 20, 40, 60 all the way down. And I can find out my big circle, my RDCA for my big, the radius, I know the diameter is 10, 20, 40, 60 all the way across. So my radius is 30. So to find the area, it's 30 times 30 times 3.14. That's going to give me the area of the whole entire, of all of this, everything in there, the whole entire circle. So if I go 30 times 3.14, I will get 2,826. That's, oops, 26. That's everything. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start picking apart my shapes. The first thing that I think that is easy is that. It's just 15 times 18 to give me that square. Times 18 equals 270. So I'm going to take that 270 and I'm going to times it by 2 because I have two of them. So 270 times 2, 540. That gives me this and this. Okay, now all I gotta do is find out my circles. And so I'm gonna do the RDCA. I know my radius is 10, right there. So I'm gonna go 10 times 10 times 3.14. And I'm gonna get times 10 times 10, 314, and I have 1, 2, 3 of them. Times it by 3, and I get 942. So what I gotta do now is I gotta take everything, subtract off my squares, and subtract that off. So I take 28, 26 minus 540 minus 942, and I end up with 1344 meters squared. Okay. Hopefully that gives you guys an idea of how we solve these types of questions. If you're still struggling, I will do another video on the other three, but for the most part, I think that summarizes everything up to date.